Hello, beautifuls. Welcome back to my Chanel. And hello, little biscuit. Are you ready to watch some more unhinged beauty TikToks? He's very excited about outside. He saw a pigeon outside, so he keeps waiting eagerly at the back window to go out and bark at it, no doubt. My little bark boy. Look, a criminal.
You need to arrest him immediately.
Welcome back, my lovelies, to another volume of unhinged makeup TikToks. If you do not know who I am, my name is Luxeria, and I have been a makeup artist, a professional makeup artist, girls, for 17 years. Can you believe it? Sometimes I also struggle to believe. She's an old woman. I also have a biochemistry degree because I have a fundamental interest in the way things work. And in this series here on the Chanel, I react to some perhaps faux pas, hacks, tips, tricks, errors over on beauty TikTok because, let's be honest, there's a lot of them. And some people are making mistakes and they don't really understand why it all goes wrong. Hopefully, I can provide some light onto why that might be. But also sometimes, beyond help, girlies. If you see any unhinged ridiculousness over there, be sure to tag me in it. It is XX Luxeria.
Oh, that's nice.
Oh, what do we have first? Okay, easy makeup hacks to elevate your look. Elevator, do. It's a pretty good song, actually.
Makeup tricks that are
Right, she's very quiet.
The game
A quiet
for you.
woman. Mummy is really struggling and hard of hearing since turning 903. So let's turn the volume up, shall we? Oh, Windows is upset.
Go f yourself.
I want that like sunburnt look.
Okay,
right?
you
So put
don't
a
want the
little here,
sunburn
you wanna
look.
make sure
Okay,
you
this is different to
get it
last
high
time, in
enough,
which
but
you
this
did
is
want
the
it.
part that no one does. Instead of just putting it all over your nose, I've already done it, but I'll do it again.
Oh, more
You
blush.
put it on like a little contour on your nose. That way, it still keeps the shape, but it gives you that sunburnt look. This is less
She's
of a
got a
tip and more of a
BTEC in
product,
beauty.
but The Shiseido eyelash curler is
Shiseido
superior. I'm pretty sure they have some kind of patented technology or some shit. Also, curl your lashes for longer than you think. Like always longer than you think.
It's very upsetting watching someone go right in the optic
Insane.
nerve, isn't
Lash
it?
Sensational Mascara by Maybelline, always. While we wait for that to dry, Holy Grail lip products. We have the Charlotte Tilbury in Super Size Me.
Tilbs.
So underrated. No
Aw.
one talks about this one.
She's dead now. She's actually alive and well, despite what you might think.
Darlings, have you tried death?
And then the Urban Decay
Right.
on the
Naked.
outside.
Oh, you
And if you're
cannot
gonna
put naked
overline,
anymore.
only overline in the center.
lazy.
Never overline on the sides, ever. Milk makeup and
Unless
cork
you
in
want
the
to.
center. Then, oh my gosh, okay, this is
Right,
what
what's
makes
this?
my eyelashes look like so long when everyone's like, what the hell are you doing?
Is it?
This.
What is
I
it?
take this little tiny mascara. I think it's meant for your bottom lashes.
I just want to say, if you pump your mascaras like this, you're actually introducing more air and perhaps bacteria in your air into your mascara, making it dry out faster. So perhaps don't do all that. Usually a lot of people do makeup in the bathroom as well. And you also have to remember that bathrooms have fecal plume. Oh, I thought I saw her in a Dragula show once.
Fuck the big picture, Clint.
And you don't want fecal plume in your mascara, girls.
And I just go over the tips of my lashes
Just the
on
tip?
the top. The pimples are pimpling today. If
The
you don't want
pimples are
extremely
giving
long lashes,
pimple.
then don't do
It's
this.
slaying pimples boots, the house down clogs.
Brown or green eyeliner
Bungalow.
any day over black. Last thing that I do that I love is I take this Urban Decay lip liner. You
Right.
guys are gonna think I'm crazy. And I put it under here. I don't know if you
Okay.
can see the difference, but I love the vibes. I don't know why.
Bulge eye vibe. I mean, okay. Oh, log in. No, I already am, you silly sausage hole. No. Drag the slider to fit the whiz. Oh, there we go. Ah, a beautiful vase.
What is happening?
Now, I am of the opinion that you can kind of wear your blush wherever you want to. For a more youthful, flushed look, you can wear it more here. If you want that more angled, elevated, upswing, like snatch look, you wear it up here. Now, I do like what she said about wearing it slightly as contour here. When I was super, super fair and I had blue hair, she's a poet, girlies! I actually do cuss a little. I actually found that a lot of contours back in the day were just far too warm. And so I would wear blush as contour. And this is something that really helped me understand how to be a better makeup artist for people with fairer skin. Even in today's land where I don't often have freelance clients very often. Using a dusky pink or something with a little bit of grey in it, or like a light, soft, cool toned pink can be used easily just to give the face a little bit of extra shape if you do find that contour always pulls up a little too warm when your skin skin for your liking. When she put this lip liner underneath the eye here, this is a trend that we see quite often within East Asian beauty. Pronouncing your lower eyelid is a lot more of like an eye widening concept, but it doesn't actually make your eye appear bigger. It makes the contours of your eye appear bigger. I must say, it's not usually a technique that I would use. In fact, I think I've only done it maybe 2 or 3 times on a client. When I was on counter, quite often we would have young people come in and be like, I really want to resemble this anime character. And it really helps for things like that. But okay, Olivia, yes, loved it. What's next?
Time for a brow lift.
Today is the day of makeup tips, apparently. 10 makeup tips. I wish I knew earlier. That is quite a liner. Look at that. The sharpness goes into the hairline and beyond the stars.
Here are 10 makeup tips I wish I knew earlier. Blend foundation with your fingers to achieve a supernatural skin-like finish.
Not
To
crannies.
really set your base.
Okay, should we go through these one by one?
No.
Lovely. Applying foundation with your fingers works really, really, really well for serum-based foundations or foundations that are often marketed as face and body. Anything that you can smear on the body works really well. I just elegantly rubbed my knee, but you can't see it because it's under my desk. Anything you can rub on the body works really, really well when you rub it into your fingers first. There is, in fact, a couple of staple products on the market. The top one that I can think of is Face and Body by MAC, where it actually is beneficial to heat up the product with your fingers and kind of work it into almost like a kind of creamy balm kind of texture, and then you go into the skin. And if you get any particular texture areas that just aren't covering, go over the top with a little sponge. So yes, does work, but usually for medium to lighter coverage foundations.
Spray your sponge with some finishing or setting spray. Your base is going to blend
got a bit
even
of a
more
cold.
flawlessly and last a lot longer. I'm
Interesting.
blending around the under eye area because we want to use less product to minimize creasing. If your brow wax comes in a jar, avoid double dipping. Instead, scoop some product out to work with. Marinate.
Oh my god, she's a sanitization woman! Do you know the amount of times that we'd never hear anyone doing any sanitary ever in any makeup ever? I wonder if she's like a makeup artistry lady, or if she's perhaps learnt from makeup artists, because that is a very like, almost, I hate to say it, but like pro tip. Hard cream products are only sanitary when you remove them from the pots and put them on a palette first. Oh, love that.
Marinate your concealer so you can
Marinate
use less
your
product
concealer,
while still
yes.
getting a full
She's a
coverage.
professional,
Spray
isn't
finishing spray between every step, especially if you like to do your skin first. It keeps the skin looking fresh for hours and the base just looks soft and airbrushed.
I will say it does depend on what kind of setting spray you are using. If you are using a matte, long-lasting setting spray, I probably wouldn't do that between every step because it's gonna make you feel kind of dry and a little bit cakey towards the end. However, she's using Fix Plus and it looks like it's Fix Plus Coconut, which has kind of like a dewy finish, which does work, but then of course you run the risk of making the skin look so dewy. Do you want that?
I don't want that.
If your eyeliner smudges
I've got that
easily,
palette.
set it with some dark eyeshadow or put some powder in this area where eyeliner.
Stop! Hands off! Who has she been learning from? I shared this technique, which is a closely guarded technique of mine, for a little while. I can't remember who I learned it from. Where did I learn it from? I certainly didn't learn it on counter. If you watched the last episode of Glow Up Girls that was here on the Chanel, I suggested that in order to create good guidelines, you can use loose powder, and that is exactly what she's done here. Let's see if we can we go back to that?
I usually bleed
Oh
where
no,
eyeliner
stop
in
it!
this area.
I don't. There. Use a sponge or something with a really sharp edge. Apply loose powder underneath the outer edge of the eye. I would do this before putting on any liner whatsoever, but it really helps you to visualize getting them equal if you do this on both sides before your liner.
Where eyeliner usually bleeds. For eyes with
Bleeds.
epicanthic folds, apply inner corner eyeliner on the lower lash line.
Okay.
To brighten and open up the eyes, place highlight in this divot here. I like to bring it up and down into the lower lash line.
I want to say these techniques are great if your eyes are slightly further apart. My eyes are a little bit closer together than this lovely lady's here, so I would probably avoid putting any darkness too close to the inner corner here because it will pull all the focus together and end up looking like a strange bird.
When setting your makeup, go one step further by drenching your sponge with setting spray, tapping gently to melt the makeup into your skin.
I do want to say that it does seem a little bit excessive to do this between each step. If you use any sort of strong setting spray that's designed to actually set the face, you're going to find that as it starts to get tacky on your sponge, you end up moving product around on your face. So by all means, this really works for like a dewy, fun, fresh finish, but for a long-lasting effect, I would avoid this technique. Right, what do we have next? I'm not sure about this.
Don't be like Britney and get burnt a few days before your bridal shower.
Don't be like Britney and get burnt a few days before your bridal shower. Okay, right. Well, I need to turn the volume up because I can't hear any of these quiet things for children.
Much too good for children.
So this is my client. She messaged me the night before, which was good. She gave me the heads up because I was able to say, come in 15 minutes early. We'll see what we can do. Normally I tell clients this isn't a makeup issue. The nature of makeup is that it kind of clings to all the dryness, and from experience,
I would actually say this is not a makeup issue at all. I would be quite hesitant about putting makeup on freshly burnt peeling skin. In fact, by quite hesitant, I mean I wouldn't do it. Unless you were someone who was like, I'm in a very expensive TV show right now. I guess this is weddings. You know, they're only one thing, aren't they? They're only one event, generally. Although if you believe the divorce rates. Sometimes it is a case that you have to break the rules in order to make someone happy. This is one of those things, though, that could potentially invalidate your insurance as a freelance makeup artist. So I would proceed with caution, but I am interested to understand how she would do it because I'd probably suggest a veil.
almost outlines the border where it's flaking and just makes it look super patchy and even worse. And I say just moisturize, but in this instance, since the color was so drastically different between the fresh skin and her tan, I thought, well, we can at least reduce the contrast.
Fresh skin and her tan, that's not tan, that's burnt.
Solution, so just keeping that in mind. I moisturized the area and then I went in with an exfoliating toner and I just gently tried to remove as much dead flaky skin as I possibly could. Then I mixed a face oil into some foundation and I'm being so careful to get it just inside the border of where it's peeling. I really didn't want it to
we're
grab
sort of into
on
body
the edges
painting
or pick up
territory
any
a
more
little
skin.
bit.
And if it weren't for the fact that it was literally her bridal shower and she was going to be in a white dress with white straps, I probably wouldn't have powdered this much. But I was also being pretty conscious of the fact that I didn't want it to transfer onto her dress. So yeah, I'm just patting it again. I'm trying not to pick up any more skin or go on the edges, just strictly on the inside. And I'm not even brushing that away. I'm kind of just patting it in. I think rubbing would be the worst thing to do in this situation.
You could also use like a
but
fan
because
to
of
dust
that,
away the
I
excess,
did go in
blow it
with
away.
a dewy setting mist, which I'm pretty sure the main component of this is glycerin. So again, just being conscious of keeping it all super hydrated and not drying. And then I used a little bit of, this is the Patrick Tart, it's like the highlighting mist, I forget what it's called, but I'm using that kind of just to distract from what's going on. And she was going to wear her hair curled, and she said on top of the shoulder, front and back. So this is how it's looking. Definitely such an improvement from what we started with, and obviously not perfect, and she knew that and I knew that, but yeah, there's a little before and this was what we got to.
I think actually that's kind of best case scenario when you have to bend the rules for something like this. The client is happy, you're happy, but you have also let her know that like it's never gonna be perfect. Makeup isn't there to disguise burnt skin. It can only really provide like a moderate disguise for something that's there, unless you start getting into the crazy world of tattoo coverage, which I guess in a kind of way, this is sort of like if you kind of really stretch your imagination a bit, skinny, thin, skinny imagination, girly wigs, imagination on a Ozempic. I do like how it turned out. I would have loved a little follow-up to be like how it wore throughout the day, because if she's going to be wearing something with straps on, it's going to rub off no matter what. Like, any foundation that says it's transfer proof, lasts 50 days. Oh, it's waterproof. Yeah, do whatever you want to me. It's not going anywhere. Eventually, it does start to wear off and to rub onto other clothes, especially when they're white for a wedding. I suppose with something like this, though, if all of the wedding photos came back and it was really obvious, little bit of retouching.
Oh, dear God.
All right, okay, who's next, girly wigs? Oh, I know who she is. Okay, how to be demure and modest and respectful at the workplace. Okay, are you ready for a HR talk, my lovely? Are you ready?
You see how I do my makeup for work? very demure, very mindful.
demure.
I don't come to work with a green cut crease.
No,
I look
she
like a clown
doesn't,
when
Dominic.
I go to work. I don't do too much. I'm very mindful while I'm at work. See how I look very presentable? The way I came to the interview is the way I go to the job. A lot of you girls go to the interview looking like Marge Simpson and go to the job looking like Patty and Selma.
Oh dear,
Not
millennial
demure.
references.
I'm very modest. I'm very
Not
mindful.
demure.
You see my shirt? Only a little chichi out, not my chocho. Be mindful of why they hired you. Here's your reality check, diva. What's the name you'd like me to make it out to?
Oh, iconic behavior, iconic. I have had a situation kind of like this happen to me before. I can imagine this kind of a character of a woman working somewhere where they're like, you think you're someone, do you? Well, we need to be mindful, don't we? Sharon, don't we? We need to be demure. Sharon, mindful, don't we? Yeah. Very that. I worked at a lovely shop called BHS. I'm never shopping in BHS again! At the time, I had black blue hair. It was really, really short, like kind of like a flyhawk haircut. A bit emo styly, if you like. And I went to lighten it to more of my natural colour, and some of the blue came really through. And my manager was like, it is not demure, it is not mindful to have blue hair at work, is it? And he was a hideous man, hideous. Anyway, BHS is closed down now and no one cares. So the moral of the story is, if you're in a workplace environment and someone comes in and is like, we're not being demure and mindful, simply remind them that in 100 years, everyone in that room will be dead and none of this matters.
You've mugged me, Giles!
Okay, good. Glad we had this talk. Right, what do we have here? What's this? How upsetting. Anyway, there's some makeup. Is it badly applied? We don't know yet. Could just be a bad upload. All right, please elucidate us.
Hey guys.
Hello.
So this is my anxiety attack because
no.
this is my wedding
Treat
makeup.
yourself.
And I look like a grandma. I look like the grandma filter. We literally paid so much to look like grandmas. We're about to go and take all of this off. It's coming off. Oh my, it's all off already. I had a nervous breakdown. I cried. You can tell. She asked for silver eyeshadow and she got blue eyeshadow.
Okay,
God,
but
I
you
got
are
the
driving.
Polish sisters, they're gonna fix me up. Wish me luck. What is this? Oh my god! What is this? Zoom in really close onto your eyes. No! No! You look scared. I look like.
Okay, all right. Should we try and rescue this makeup look, shall we, a little bit? Okay, so we've got a kind of a clear image here. There are multiple different things wrong with this image. As a professional makeup artist, you have to be mindful of what your client wants. If your client says silver, pull out some silver eyeshadows, swatch them, and say which one do you think is the best here? Which one? Don't just go straight in. Make sure you double, triple, quadruple check with your client so that then you can say, well, actually, we did agree on the silver tone here. Granted, on the eye, it has shifted in tone a little bit if they're unhappy with it. And then that gives you reason to be like, well, we agreed mutually together on this tone. And that can help diffuse the situation with a client who might not be happy with the makeup look, or the makeup result, should I say. Next, I want to say the eyebrow. I don't know what this is. What makeup artists, where are you learning this? That you pull an eyebrow down at the end. This is, no. I mean, I know that we're not going to be doing plucking on a client unless they specifically request it, but also, if you're in the UK, you're not usually doing both at the same time.
Are you that sort?
But creating a little bit of a lift by perhaps not pulling the eyebrow quite so far down would immediately give a very wider-eyed, open, more awake kind of effect. I want to say the blending on the depth of shadow here is just like, that leaves a lot to be desired. Look how flat that is, and it's the same on the other side. When you apply a depth of color through the crease in order to create that kind of soft cut crease kind of effect, remember you are doing contouring. It's technically a kind of shadow. And not just that shadow, you're creating a shadow of the eye. You need it to work with your client's natural features. So I actually believe that they've pulled this up way too high. And the light color underneath the eyebrow is far too bright as well. In fact, actually, even all of the base is the wrong tone. As you can see, she's got like excess powder here, which is clearly catching some level of light because it's different to her chest or décolletage tone. There's a strange line here on her nose, and this is so messily applied. I'm so sorry this happened to you. It is one of those things, though, that in the day and age of social media, if you can't get references or accurate pictures from their Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, whatever it is, I wouldn't necessarily go to them. Just gonna leave that there. But also, little PSA, please don't make TikToks whilst you're driving. Thank you. Oh, how to ruin your makeup 10 minutes before you need to leave the house. Love that. Love this.
How to ruin your makeup 10 minutes before
10
you
minutes
need to leave the house.
Oh, is this? Hang on. Oh! Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear. It's too pigmented, isn't it? Yes. She's doing the most. Too much, some might say. Oh. Actually, at the end there, she managed to save it, but she didn't really show us what she did to save it. So, all right, sit with me, my lovelies. Imagine this.
Barbara, the bus is coming. It's 10 minutes away down the road. We can see it over the hill. Quickly. You need to leave. Get that blusher on and go.
You are Barbara in this situation. You are applying blush kind of haphazardly and hurriedly. It's too much. Too pigmented. Your friend Kathy bought you the new e.l.f. blushes and they're too much. As soon as you blend and you start to realize it is too much, take the back side of your sponge and gently press in and remove the excess without smudging too much, because too much blusher, cream blusher especially, or even liquid blush, can cause micro exfoliation on the skin, ruining the texture of your base. The next step is to reapply some of your concealer or foundation over the top. But be mindful of this because sometimes that kind of hot pink blush tone has a tendency to kind of go a bit silvery, like a weird silvery coolness to it when you attempt to layer too many products on top of each other. And then on top of that, set with a powder foundation, a highly pigmented powder foundation. I recommend something like the MAC Studio Fix, the Double Wear powders, or if you want something a bit more budget and friendly, the Maybelline 36-hour powder foundation wig? This one, whatever this is.
I don't like it when you touch me.
Another option you have is that when you've started to blend and you notice it's too thick, too creamy, too pigmented, grab yourself some Grab yourself some toilet tissue, fold it in half, press on the skin and pull it away. You can keep doing this and effectively you are blotting off the excess pigment. Sometimes though, I'm going to let you in on a secret here. Sometimes it's unsavable and you have to redo your makeup. I know, I'm very sorry to announce that. I'm sorry.
Elegant? No.
Oh, right. Oh, my goodness. Okay. What? It's a clean girl aesthetic? Oh. Oh, no. Oh. Okay, well, we're going to readdress this. Okay, so clean girl aesthetic. I'm kind of over it, personally. I'm just like, do you know what? Put some makeup on. If you want to do a makeup look, wear some makeup. The clean girl aesthetic is a very interesting marketing tactic done by ultra glamorous, very young, very gorgeous women online
On the game.
to sell you some expensive cosmetics that have very little to no pigment and are mostly skincare based. I know, controversial take. If you love that style of makeup, good. You will never find me here telling you to do something that you do not want to do. And if you love something, do it. Within reason, of course, as long as you're not hurting yourself and others. Oh, I'm getting into dangerous territory here. What I'm trying to say is the clean girl aesthetic is not for everyone. If you have problem areas on your skin with things such as texture, or you need extra coverage in those certain areas, or you perhaps have skin that has lived and seen the world.
I remember when they first invented chocolate. I always hated it.
And isn't tight like you've lived in the attic for 21 years. Medium coverage is what I would use in a situation like this. Minimal powder. I can see that she's got some powder going on here. That's a bit too much in my opinion. I feel like medium coverage foundation, high coverage cream-based concealers would really help to even out the tone, and a very, very light layer of powder at the end. And if you find that you still need to bake, I can see here she loves a bit of liner, a bit of shadow, a bit of lash. And for that, baking can be useful in order to catch fallout and the like. Make sure that you set the areas that move quite frequently on the face, so around the mouth, around the nose, around the eye, first with a tiny little bit of powder on an eyeshadow brush. Perfect. Fits right in. Set it gently, just so that that area is set, and then you can layer on a heavier powder over the top in a minimal area in order to help you catch all those extra fallouty bits. That way you're not just shoving powder into liquid and going, oh, why is there so much texture here? And if you want to have a very dewy finish, but you've also used a lot of powder to achieve the setting of the medium coverage that I've suggested earlier, dewy finish setting sprays, they are the moment. There's the MAC Fix Plus, there's the e.l.f. Coconut Dewy Face Mist, great options. And if you're so inclined, you can even use things like snail mucin essence to create that glow from within.
Diamonds!
Right, okay, right, oh, Pov.
Peasants.
Point of view, you're already late and then this happens. Skull emoji, oh God, what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen next, everybody?
She doesn't.
Oh, not this song. Right, okay. Ironically, just talked about this. What is it? Is she gonna have texture? Oh, no. Okay, I think she's got an Oscar there. But, right, what did she say there at the end? I thought I managed to save it, but my under eyes were giving Sahara Desert. Okay. I basically just kind of covered similar idea to this. So you can see here, this is what I mean by going in with too much powder in one go. If she had have used a tiny little brush to really just set those little areas in first, you kind of give yourself a bit of a barrier between the next layer of powder. Thin layers is a really good way of thinking about makeup. If you put too much on in one go, it becomes very difficult to save. Spot setting the areas first with a brush full of powder works very well, and then you can go in and build up this layering. But I also feel like this is just a bit too much baking powder, in my opinion. I'm a huge fan of baking. I really like it. As I say, I have a very specific style for my makeup. I always say I paint like a showgirl with a day job. But with good skin prep and not overloading the skin with powder, you can avoid this kind of a situation. If you do consistently find that the texture of your skin is really upset by makeup, change the way that you apply your foundation on top of that. Instead of rubbing with a brush, pat in with your fingers or pat in with a sponge. No dragging whatsoever. Same goes with your powder, same goes with your concealer. If you're dragging things across the skin, it causes abrasion and technically exfoliation, which is all just going to clump up your skin and just make everything stick to it and look very not smooth, not demure. What was the other word? Egged. This was an old trick. Oh, are we going to have old tricks here? Do you know what? They just don't make them like they used to. Oh, I love a throwback, a bit of nostalgia, a bit of this is how we did it before. Love it. Right. What's she going to teach us?
This was an old trick. It was the MAC Spice pencil.
Spice.
Everyone had it.
Yes.
Everyone did it.
Yes.
That's not what I'm using today.
Oh.
My friend Terry has a line called Very Terry.
Oh,
and
Very
I really
Terry
like this
is
color,
very,
Amaretto.
very.
I'm going to do like a 90s thing.
90s,
I have to go to the
okay.
side. Now, I have a little bit of unevenness, so this is where lip pencil is really good because you can correct unevenness.
Absolutely.
So I'm going to overdraw this side a tiny.
Yes.
I don't do colors that are very different from my skin, so you don't have to be perfect at it. Because I tend to eat off my lipstick, and I don't ever want to be like at lunch like this, where I only have it on the outside. Is that I'll just take this color and
red lipstick wearers whomst
fill in. Okay, so once I got my lip liner on shape, that's
I don't know who this is, but she looks very familiar. Very familiar. 90s actress, 90s model, perhaps?
Yes, again, I don't overdraw, but you can. Even my daughter, sometimes she overdraws, and, you know, I've been through that phase. I guess I don't do it so much anymore. But I do think like a neutral lip is very 90s, especially with like a more dramatic eye.
Oh,
so
yes.
I really like these. This is by Tarte. It's called
Tarte.
Juicy Lip. I don't know. I like the name too, Juicy Lip. I want a juicy lip. I just do that.
A bit of juice.
Over and again adding that moisture back in. A dry lip can look really cool, especially for a photo shoot or on a runway, but for real life it just doesn't feel good. Like I definitely want a little emolliency. Maybe now I have a little too much.
Yes, that was a little bit much, I must say. Why is this man on the toilet? Sigma Grandad talks about gyats. No. I just want to say that I think this is lovely. And yes, I am not a huge fan of the brand Tarte. Am I a huge fan of the brand Tarte? I feel like I put them in a video once and I was like, no, be careful of Tarte. Was it Tarte or Too Faced? I get them very confused. It is interesting hearing her talk about MAC Spice liner, because if you watch Erin Parsons, a beautiful makeup artiste, girls, she is on a personal quest to find a dupe for the MAC Spice liner from the 90s in the same sort of colour story and tone, because they just don't make them like they used to, girls. And a lot of that is to do with the fact that a lot of pigments, tones, chemicals used within the cosmetic sphere have been subject to legalization. Perhaps they're not as safe for skin as we thought they were in the 90s also. So a lot of like the FDA, is it FDA approved? FDA and the EMA and other chemical regulation authorities around the world have removed these pigments from circulation. And so we just can't get them like they used to. But this is a great, great lip colour. I love hearing and watching some of the wisdom from people back in the day before I was even like conscious as a human being. I love it. I love it so much. Like, what did we do? What did we do?
Ketamine and MDMA.
Bring life back to faded microbrows with brow extensions? I'm not sure I like where this is going. Okay, do we want extensions in the eye? Okay, right.
I'm in love. I'm obsessed. And I don't even feel guilty about it.
I'm sure this is a copyright song. I mean, sure. How long is that going to last, though? And will it last throughout washing? I imagine that's going to be a similar sort of thing to eyelash extensions, in a way. But they were long pieces of hair, weren't they? Maybe they're like individual hairs that she's bonded to the eyebrow. I don't know. Would you get eyebrow hair extensions? I'm not sure I would, but I think there's a market for it. I'm someone who likes to wear makeup though, and I feel like if I wanted to properly cleanse my face, I like to use oil-based cleansers to get things off. Can't have things that are glued onto my face because eventually the glue dissipates under all the oil removers. Oily hole. Ugh.
God, how awful!
Right. I think I've just seen something that's very controversial, my loves. The next one, this last one, very controversial behaviour. But, okay, let's watch. Let's just watch. Okay, let's watch. Should we be horrified together, my lovelies? Yeah!
Did you all see this video?
Did we all see this
video? This is an MRI of a 33-year-old who, over the last 6 years, has had 12 syringes of filler injected into her face, which is what all this green is here that you see. This is all the filler. And what this MRI is showing us, that all of that, the filler has either tripled or doubled in size. I can't remember exactly what he says, but it's expanded. And this is because hyaluronic acid is a substance that loves water, and it causes tissue expansion.
It does.
We're learning
That's why lip fillers
that
work.
Filler doesn't just dissolve or go away like we've been told. It in fact just migrates and expands, which is what causes that like pillow face, that just like puffy kind of just weird look that we see everywhere now. And then he did a follow-up video that explains how filler can disrupt our lymph system.
Yes.
Yikes. Definitely go check out this dude's page. Super interesting stuff. I've had filler before.
I'm going to interject here and say that I don't think this is the case for every single person, but the pillow face phenomenon, where we see celebrities with just too much filler that's softened out over time, that has migrated, is too much. And I do think that we're probably going to see over the next 10 to 15, maybe even 20 years, if we're all still around then, perhaps potential scandals coming out from the aesthetics industry. Hyaluronic acid does degrade in the body. However, I do not believe for a split second that we have to get repeated injections every 6 months. People that say that filler goes away in 6 months, no, I do not believe that in the slightest. But that's not the case for everyone. For me, myself, I know that I can get a syringe of lip filler that's about 1 ml of lip filler, and that's going to last in my lips for about 2 years before I need a top-up, or any sort of amount that I just want to reconvene, reconnect, make it look pristine again, even, nice. Once you've finished using filler as a way of building up a contour that you want to emphasize, maybe that's underneath the eyes, a little bit around the jaw, maybe even on the lips, it is then a case of maintenance. Don't always think that you have to go back for your full 1 ml after 6 months. If you're going to a good reputable esthetician who's using decent product, it should last, and you do not need to get it topped up every 6 months. That is wild to me. So I am completely not surprised that we are now seeing people with pillow faces. I myself have had an MRI. I had to have an MRI in order to have my facial feminization surgery. I'm happy to say that I do not have this level of migrated filler. Let's just say that. However, when I have had migrated filler before, I have it dissolved before re-adding. And that is so important. I see so many people just getting filler on top of filler on top of filler on top of filler. You can't put good filler on top of bad filler. Imagine building a house on top of bad foundations. Impossible. So yes, my lovelies, be mindful, be kind, be good, but I want to watch the rest of it. Be demure.
I'm 34 years old. I've had filler in my cheeks twice and a handful of times in my lips. It's been like 4 years since I've had anything. And I'm at this point so grateful that I never went overboard with any of it. And before even seeing all these videos, I was already at a place where I was just over it all. Like I haven't worked in a med spa in like 3.5 years or something like that. And that distance has kind of just made me realize how kind of crazy it all is.
Yes, check yourself.
Like I don't know,
sometimes.
I still love Botox. Like I'm not snobby towards any of it. And I've recently been wanting to get a little bit of filler in my lips just to define the border. I'm never getting filler anywhere outside of my lips, that's for sure. Maybe not even in my lips at this point. I don't know. But anyway, super important information. I'm glad this video got like 8 million views, so.
I love that. I honestly do think that everything you need to do is considered. Don't go immediately for the most over-the-top aspect because you need to give yourself time to adjust to new things on your face and body. I'm a huge proponent of taking my aesthetic look right up to the edge of what we would consider acceptable and just teetering that line ever so gently, ever so gently. Sometimes it's very important to disconnect and remind yourself that not everything is as it seems online. And I think it's important to check in with yourself a little bit before getting swept up in the latest beauty trend. Well, my lovelies, my goodness me, what an adventure we've had today in the unhinged world of TikTok. Let me know what you think about what you've seen in today's video because it's been a lot. It's always a lot here. Always a lot. I'm gonna go and tone my hair again because she's looking a little bit creamy vanilla. And with that, my loves, it's time for the Patreons. You can see yourself scrolling past on the screen right here. Yes, you can. Today's Luxeria Labs subscriber shout out goes to Kayla Pearl. Thank you so much for subscribing to my second channel here on YouTube, Luxeria Labs, in which I focus on tech, travel, and photography. If you want to be featured in the next shout out, subscribe to Luxeria Labs. The link is in the pinned comment below. And we've got some brand new Patreons supporting the Chanel here, my lovelies. I want to say a massive hello and welcome to Asgardians, Plague Daddy, AJ Sunday, Jenny Says Qual, Taylor Somerville, Amber Jade, Marzipan, Terran Bence, Hassan Ali, Bubs and Bish Quartz, Ty McTire, Liv Brady, Jamie Webber, Laura Fickle, Mackenzie Ellis, and Emma LaCherry. Thank you so much for joining the Patreon, my lovely, and providing some extra support here on the Chanel to ensure our growth and thriving times in these difficult times, girl. If you want to join the Patreon, the link is in the description box below, my lovelies. And once again, I want to say a massive thank you to my top tier Patreons. Orcos Samoji, Amelia Dillingham, Ariadia X, Ass Guardians, Becky Johnson, Beebles32, Bumblebee Whisperer, Cameron Pittman, Shell Herman, ContraPoints, Emma Burns, Eric Castillo, Finch Dunham, James A. Zengirl, Jenny Wood, Larissa Says Relax, Leanne Jones, Lenore, Les Banana, Marzipan, Mo Sherman, Miss Kiss, Novembrix, Paula Rivera, Sky Dorim, Steffutech, TNS Mum, and Taylor Martin. And with that, my loves, I'll see you in the next one.
Darlings, have you tried death?